Pull up, come on. Hi, how you doing? You may not be in yet, so we'll give it a minute or two for some people to come on in. So do me a favor, and wherever your chat is, let me know if you're in here. I'll put it in chat. That might help. Put my piece of stick back up. Is what in the hell is my computer doing now? Good for nothing Chromebook. I just wanted to work. This is gonna be ridiculously slow. Cat. Just noticed him in the background. Post already. There it is. Yeah, real internet would be nice, right? Maybe it would go, stay up. Maybe it would stay up if I had it full. Anyway, the goal for the day is to get this transferred over. You can kind of see the background outline of the bigger plate behind it. And then I've got the small plate that I'm going to make to go over the top, because the chassis is layered. The top layer. So I'm going to have to sandwich them. So that is what I'm going to have to do. But, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully I can get internet working by soon. I'm almost considering what you call it, Starlink. Almost considering Starlink, because that way I could be wherever I wanted to be and I wouldn't have to be tethered to my house, but yet I would still should have internet wherever. It's like a world's biggest hotspot, I think. I don't know, I gotta research it. But I can't even post a comment while I'm playing around with this. I can try it again. No, I just put in the exact same thing I was trying to say before. Because the other stream is not very big as far as data. I mean, it doesn't really have a lot on there. So I don't know if it's a case of I need a better computer. Excuse you. Or, internet connection. Well, I know I need a better internet connection, but I don't know if it's because the Chromebook's old that I'm having so many problems with it or whatnot. It's not great. It's literally whatever I can get out of this. And then the 15th of every month, it resets. It resets and goes back to what it was, you know, a full stream worth of a internet connection. Anyway, I did have my surgeries. I'm reasonably well, but I mean, don't let me sitting here fool you into thinking that it doesn't hurt. It hurts. It hurts a lot. Even the tops of my feet hurt. So they said there might be nerve damage at some point. Yeah, that very well could be. But they don't want me laying down all day either. So if they don't want me laying down all day and I'm supposed to get up and do stuff, but I can't do with strenuous activities, like I'm not allowed to vacuum or anything like that right now. Not supposed to go to the store, drive, anything along those lines. So sitting for a few hours, I can usually get away with that. I've been sitting quite a bit in the past couple days. running both, well, mainly running the Mr. Radar and worrying about taking care of myself as I can. But setting up those 12-hour streams and then babysitting them isn't as easy as you'd think. There's a lot to it, especially considering StreamYard doesn't let you like save a block of information. So that spiel in the description that I have to put up every time I since took and made myself a Word copy of it. So I'm hoping that now I can just go and grab the bulk of the material, and then depending upon which channel I'm broadcasting on, whether it's this channel for the car stuff and the RC stuff, or if it's Mr. Radar, I can put a little blurb up top and then the rest of the main body. There's no way for me to go and grab like copy and paste comments and such. So if I wanted to there's no way for me to grab, and it takes forever for this thing. Like I said, I don't know if it's a computer or the internet. But my pinned message, to get my pinned message, I have to write it out each time. I can't copy and paste it. There's no realistic way unless I do it right as I'm copying and pasting it. And that's not, right as I'm actually typing it out. So that right there on the screen, you can see how long it takes to load. There's no way, there's no feature inside of StreamYard for me to be able to just grab that text and repost it, or grab it so I can put it up into a little notebook or something like that each time and grab it. And there is also this link. Oh, I will take and put this in the starred one so that way I can grab it easy. And I'm not even like playing music or anything in the background or sharing the screen on this one. This one's strictly the camera. Shouldn't have an overlay. What's going on? Wow. I guess the comment will, the link for the StreamYard will eventually post at the bottom of the screen. It is in the chat. But, it is taking all of its time. I'll just go back to the comments. So yeah, if you want to, sorry. Depending on where your comments box are, if you want to help out, just that you don't have to help out much, but if you want to help out a little with figuring out, there's the link, how to get a better system for this, because this is just an ancient Chromebook. Just a drop will do you. I'm not asking for you to pay everything. Gracious enough to give me enough to do one on paid, so that way I can have people in here and I don't have to worry about how long it takes for, or how much time I have to record and stream. So thank you for subbing to both, Ellen. Thank you. Keep your eye out for streams on Mr. Radar and here. Here might not be as much because this is my channel I've had for 2 years now. And I had one previously to that's linked to this channel under Snake Eyes 427 that I'd had since I was in high school. Almost since YouTube was YouTube. Long before any of the politics and any of the nonsense that came with YouTube. But I try to avoid that here. I'm not out, I'm not out causing trouble. This is actually mainly for my RC cars and then my full-size cars, so I just try to have fun on this channel. I leave the politics to other people. I'll say that. You're not good at figuring out streams, like how to set up online, like in the chats and everything, because following them in the chats is one thing. Setting them up and running a stream is far different than watching one. Watching one's easy. Setting it up, running it, even with good internet connection and a good system, and even with everything working the way it's supposed to, all the stars lining up and all that, running a stream is a pain. Not just because I have a cut across my back. So if you guys want to see that, I can not show you in person. Actually, I would have to show you pictures. But it is a lot of work. It is taxing. It's emotionally taxing. It can be physically taxing if you're trying to sit in one spot or something along those lines. So anybody who is streaming or is doing videos for you guys, hit the thumbs up, like their channel, sub to their channel. You gotta watch 5 minutes of their videos to keep that subscription to stick. That's what a lot of things happen. People sub and they only watch for a minute or so, and then they figure they can come back. It doesn't work that way. You actually have to stick around. All around car channel. So you can see the little logo on my screen. It's right here. I don't know if it's backwards on yours. But I do full-size cars and I do RC cars. Right now, I'm only doing RC cars, and I'm doing it on a limited time basis. Back surgery will slow you down. It's going to be well into November before they clear me, sort of clear me for work. Once I go back to work at light duty, at least, then maybe I'll start doing some of the light duty stuff. I don't have a GoPro. I don't have any recording equipment. So when I go out to my car storage or even out to my garage, the only thing I have to record with is my ancient cell phone here, little Note 10, shuts off. I'm just doing my best with what I can. If you guys don't want to hear a sap story, you already know what life is. Life's hard. When you have a part-time job and it's only paying minimum wage. And you're not even working net right now. But this is why I do stuff like I do here. Why I'm on YouTube. I'm not getting anything from it yet. But even after 2 years, I'm hoping it'll pay dividends at some point. Oh, gotta have my coffee, guys. It is the way it is. Sorry. But yeah, I'm mostly just automotive. I do cars, big, small, kind of both. Right now I gotta line these holes and those holes because that's the only thing on the plate, the lower plate, that actually lines up together. So and then I can work on figuring out what I want to build for that plate. Pretty much what I can with what I've got. My husband makes pretty good money, and I appreciate that he's taking care of me, and that we have this place and we can pay for it, but that's just about all we can do. It is California, and even though it is Fresno, it's still California prices. Everything is expensive. So I do what I can. And I figure also I was going to I set the channel up just for this. At KDM, I didn't set the channel up just to bring money in or just to do this. I was going to be doing RC cars regardless. I was going to be doing full-size cars regardless. It wasn't going to make a bit of difference at all. So I figured about a year and a half, 2 years ago, what the hell? If I'm going to be doing this anyway, why not run a YouTube? I'm not trying to ignore you guys, but it does take a little bit of work when you're prototyping by hand. I don't know I probably could, but I don't know any of the computer-aided drafting or anything like that. So everything I've ever built I've done by just doing. So yeah, YouTube doesn't pay for anything for me. It would be great to have it go Kevin Talbert or any one of those, but I'm not looking for that. Hi, Rod. I mean, I'd be happy if it just paid for itself. What do I mean by that? Nobody seems to understand that when you do YouTube, even if you're doing YouTube just putting videos up, there's a cost of your camera equipment, your cell phone bill, if you buy a computer to be able to edit it, and you're putting actual effort into editing, there's a cost involved with that. It's not free. Right? Any Yahoo with an internet or a Google email address can upload onto YouTube, but it takes a special kind of monkey to be able to do it repeatedly. I'm not that monkey. If you've noticed my history, I've done more in the past 3 months or so than ever, just because I got tired of sitting on the sideline. Hey, Cyclone. I got tired of sitting on the sideline, and I finally wanted to get where Nitro Freak was. I wanted to be just stream. Just get on and do some streaming and talk amongst the crowds and such like that. Pukarasi! Hi! So you guys are starting to come in, trickle in. For those of you trickling in, that's the bottom plate. So I'm going to have it on my light table so I can transfer the image through the back, and I can draw out what I need to do for a top plate and get the top plate made. Now this is just regular plastic, and it's already got a nice size crack, so no, I don't expect it to live. First time that thing hits something, it's coming apart. But it'll be enough to see what it's going to take to move the motor, move the motor to the front under the hood like a regular real Dodge Viper would have, and it'll give me an idea what I need to do for steering linkages and such like that. I haven't cut on anything. That's why I'm making separate plates, so I don't cut on any new plates. The thought is my mind to doing this much easier, where I have a brand new chassis. If I went the brand new chassis idea, which I'd love to do, I would still end up having to figure out that chassis would still be 2 decks. So it would be graphite or something along those lines, something much stronger. But it still would be 2 decks because of the Traxxas architecture. I want to use the original Traxxas or the Fortec parts. The reason I'm going to use Fortec parts for this 2-wheel drive project is because I have enough extra differentials and whatnot to do it. So I'm going to use those because I can. And one of the biggest problems with this is it's got way too much gear. Like way too much, almost off-road car gearing. Which isn't great for making speed, honestly. But if I stick the engine, motor, whatever, interchangeable, on the top plate, to figure out which way is front, which way is back. This way is front. If I stick it on the top plate and I put it a little high, which will mess with the roll center, but that's life. Real cars have the engine a little high. But if I do that and use a long shaft just like it has now, I could actually put a much bigger gear on the motor than on the drive shaft. So I can overdrive the ever-loving out of it and bring the gear ratio, the overall gear ratio from, I think that has something like 260 something to 1 in the ring and pinion, front and rear. But if I put two different 32 pitch gears on it with a little sleeve, then that way, and I'm going to use the mod 1 or the 32 pitch, so it's big enough a hole for the shaft. So gear right here, the small gear on the shaft and the big gear on the motor, like that. And if I do it that way, then I'll actually be able to run the steering underneath too, if I wanted to. Percocet's a hell of a drug. Oxycontin's a nice thing to have in your system when you've had back surgery. So, yeah, it looks like I'm up and around and I'm fine and everything. It's like not that really that way. It hurts. It hurts like hell. It takes a lot out of me. But I'm doing this stream today because I'm getting antsy about losing everybody. I've been off for 2 weeks or more. The weird thing was I streamed the Artemis launch the other day, and I streamed it here, and I streamed it at Mr. Radar. And since I streamed it at both places, for some reason here it got like 1,500 something views. So it's a lot of views. So I'm figuring if that's a lot of views and I got a few people out of that for subscribers and such, that I should be streaming here. At least a little bit. As you can see right there, 1,500 for Artemis, which I didn't expect but a handful of people from here to be watching, but there was. It tells me there's a copyright infringement or whatever. That's because I had NASA or somebody else in the background, but once I get YouTube Studio figured out, I can fix that. Not that worried about it, but it won't. My studio on my Chromebook is acting up, so I gotta figure that out. But you can see the distinct difference over on Mr. Radar. We only had 3 views. So the channel I set up specifically for that had 3 views. And the channel I set up 2 years ago ended up with 1,500 views. That's why I'm on here tonight. This is actually what the channel is for. Not necessarily for the airplane stuff. So, I'm boring the heck out of my RC crowd. I know that. Let's see if I can get to this. There's no real rhyme or reason for me wanting to turn my Fortec into a 2-wheel drive, front engine 2-wheel drive type car, other than because it would match the body style. So why not, right? Let me know before I start this. Let me know in chat if you want me to show you pictures of that back surgery. I've already showed some of you pictures of how bad that back was shaped. But, yeah, we'll do that real quick. Slow like now. So, they have a cut in me here where they went in through the front all the way to the back and put 4 screws in the back in the front of my spine through my front. So all the way like a through and through gunshot wound almost. And then screwed those in. They had opened me up back here to decompress my spine before they did that. So first surgery, they opened me up here, pulled my spine a little to decompress it, and then came in through here and put those 4 screws in. I spent 5 days in the hospital. Then they sent me home. A couple, 2.5, 3 days later, I went back in. They opened this back up. And that's where they put the screws and rods in me. 4 more screws and 2 rods. All the hardware is titanium. So the running gag now is I wonder who has more titanium in my RC cars or me by weight. I think they're still winning. So it is painful though. You can hear my voice crack, and it's with medicine. So my medicines are due at 7, and it's a little after 5 or little before 6. So it's a little taxing, and then they take about a half hour to kick in. It was a lot. It was a lot with my medical conditions though. They didn't want to. It's supposed to be 3 surgeries. So they're supposed to cut you open, decompress the spine, sew you back up, send you home. I don't know why. And then he can say whatever he wants in here. I'm not monetized. But yeah, it's a lot. And I'm sorry if I read that comment wrong. I'm not trying to come at you. I've still got quite a few bruises. Like I can't really. All right. Share some light on this. It'd be nice if the camera. There we go. So I've still got quite a few bruises from when they put IVs in. I don't know what the heck kind of tape they're using, but I'd really love to have it for my RC cars because this stuff does not come off here when instead of a vein. Yeah, after reading it twice, I saw that. Sorry. Did I say I was on medicines and not quite? Yeah, sorry. So that's what my butt looks like now. It's all stitched up. The right there, that's that little bit right there. It's just sticking up, and it's the reason why I have to keep a bandage on, because that right there, if I laid on my stomach with that little piece of cord sticking up, so I can't really do that. That would be bad. That's the cut on my front. It actually looks a lot worse than it is. That one's super glued together instead of stitched. I did crop the picture because I took it from my lap, so I cropped the picture for you guys. But yeah, it's not easy. It hurts. Moving wrong. I can't really get up the stairs all that great. I mean, I can get up the stairs, but then again, oh well. Not repeatedly. But shows we have 4 of you guys. I know what 1 or 2. See, I'm looking at it from the StreamYard side of things, not the YouTube side of things. So, comments, it takes a minute for them to come. Cyclone, you still here? You're gonna have a titanium neck soon, huh? Well, I definitely feel what you're gonna be going through. Don't plan on jumping up and going and doing stuff real quick. Like, it's not gonna happen. Do make sure to follow their guidelines, though. Better than I am, at least. I'm not doing as great a job, but it kind of is what it is, right? So, let's see. I'm going to try and get this sort of sketched real quick. Anything else I'm missing? Yeah, see, it hurts. It does. Because that's all up against that chair. Now let me know if I'm being annoying about it. I'll tone it down. This StreamYard does have the ability to have 9 other people in here with it. Now, I don't know if that's going to actually happen because I can barely keep myself in here at times, but that will come. All right, see ya. Phone's buzzing. I have it on when it's not supposed to be even vibrating. It is anyway. Is Cyclone still here? Or did he leave? I know 5 o'clock puts it at some people's dinner time. 5 o'clock puts it at some people's early bedtime. But it's probably the best balance I can think of. So that's going to probably be my top plate. Right there. The little spots here are actually where linkage goes. So that's a control arm. Starting to hate this bucket. I have a bucket of parts for cars, regular cars at the bottom, and it's starting to get on my nerves because it keeps swallowing stuff. These are arm mounts. The standard Fortec uses only one set of arm mounts in the front for the control arms. So it's got one set here and then 2 little blocks in the back that are captured. This is a flat plate, so I can't really use those little captured blocks. So instead, I'm going to use 2 like this. One front, one rear, and literally run it one front, one rear, just in case there's some angle. It should keep the angles correct. So I think all you can see is a white piece of paper, unfortunately, but not easy to lay out either. That's probably the best I'm going to be able to do. You get the point there. And there should be just enough room to clear the steering. If not, I'll have to figure steering out. But that can be done. And basically, I'm just going to end up epoxying these 2 pieces together and making one plate. with it. Once I do that, I can run all the regular suspension gear with the... I'm going to run the regular suspension gear for a Fortec. Fun part is going to be getting a shock tower to work. So I gotta figure out how to mount that, because that mounts to the gearbox, which it's not gonna have a gearbox. So that's gonna have to get worked on. Because it mounts to the top of these. Like so. The other thing that mounts to the top are the camber links. They mount on these little ears. Again, I'm not going to have a gear cover, so I will have to figure out how I'm going to do that. Mount those. As well as I have the little issue of whether I'm going to have enough room, which I don't think the camera can see it, but my ichrometers can. It's just exactly the size and width of an engine or a low motor. Like, gravity. But it is just about exactly there. So I won't lose too much. If I had adjustable camber links, it'd probably be just fine. Which is fine. I can figure out adjustable camber links. I can do that. Finding the carbon rod, because I might need to. That's obviously not going to be long enough. So. Hi, Nitro. Welcome in. You can play around with stuff. We can figure that out while I'm here. That might be simpler for us. I got top plate sketched out. The bottom is just a reflection. So I have to get this transferred to the plastic. And I'm going to stick the two together, ultimately with epoxy. But I think I'm going to try and get some double stick tape or something first that's nice and thin, so I can see how thick everything's going to be first, foremost. So you can see now I'm going the opposite direction with this. Even my ichrometers are getting old. Thought I had regular tape around here, but it's not. Still eating? Well, maybe if, yeah, come back when you're done. Go eat. Gotta take care of yourselves. Might be easier to do to use some of my purple vinyl, really, but should probably just use electrical tape. Well, that's not what I heard he was eating. Yeah. Brand new knife has old blade. Old knife has brand new blade. Maybe I should do something about that. Self-ejecto knife. Ejectocito. Oh, by the way, don't ask me how old that is. I just remember it from when I was 5. So, our dad's had it that long. So, no, I don't know if you can go get a brand new X-Acto blade older dilly bop thing. Honestly, couldn't tell you. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Electrical tape. It's down in here somewhere. I don't know how long this project's gonna take me. It'll take me multiple days, because let's face it, I haven't even gotten it cut out. And I'll probably only be at this for another hour, but who knows? You know how we are with these lives. We'll say, hey, I'm only going to be on for a little while, and then that turns into a little while longer than a little while. Don't rub face with knife in hand. You'd almost think maybe I did that once when I was little. Maybe. Is there anyone in here does crawling? Like rock crawlers? Preferably 10 scale rock crawlers. I have some questions. You do? Okay. Do you use brushed motors or brushless motors in your crawlers? Because there's a lot of goes back and forth on it. Some people love the brushed motors from Holmes. Other people swear by brushless systems from any number of companies. When I want to get I'm curious. because I have a few things what could help me out with brushed motors, and likewise help everybody else out. Always recap knife, because you never know when you're going to be a klutz and it's going to go through your leg. And I know this piece of paper is not centered anymore. Okay. The art table is nowhere near flat enough for that kind of nonsense. So there's speculation back and forth both ways, and I can't imagine Mr. Holmes would waste his time building brush motors if everybody was doing the brushless thing. So the reason I'm bringing it up, okay, for one, some of you may know that I've had I have an armature cutter. Sorry, gotta bring something up because I can't go upstairs and get it right now. I also have a brush cutter, so I can make custom brushes. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find a picture of it on. Enough representation. Good enough for government work. I have a dyno upstairs. Just like that. It's a DOS dyno, not a Windows one. But I have a perfectly good dyno upstairs. So if I got a hold of a lot of them, not a lot of, like a lot, 25, 50, you know, a lot of them, and bought them at a mild discount because I'm buying so many once. I could run them on my dyno, tune them, and do custom tunes for people if they wanted them too. Reedy makes really good motors. Reedy made really good motors. Back when brushed was the thing. A lot of Reedy motors are actually Yokomos in disguise. So you get hold of an old Reedy motor and take a look at the shaft side. it'll have YOK stamped in it. Actually a Yokomo motor. It's not an Reedy and Associated were all but husband and wife. I'm kind of pulling this out because I know for a fact I have a brushed motor in here. Or had a brushed motor in here. I guess I put it away. Oh, that's got an engine in it. Nope, that doesn't have an engine in it. That's probably older than you. I don't know when you were born, but that's probably older than you. Now my little guy. It's the only crawler I have, like crawler. So we'll go to the 1996, which I took out too. Sheesh. I guess modern technology is catching up with me. I have 4 of them out here and all but that brushless. I mean, well, shiznit. Anyway, I have a substantial amount of brushed motors upstairs. So I'm going to try and get my dyno working. You guys are going for a ride. One of the things that's going to help me do that is I have purchased a older ThinkPad. Why? Because it still has a serial port. Unfortunately, it's not old enough to have a 3.5 drive. That would be beautiful because the hardware, or the software is on 3.5. But somebody put it on a disk for me. I just don't know if the disk worked right. But for $10 at the local thrift store, I picked it up because, yeah, it gives me something I can hook up, try and specifically run just the old dyno. And I'll probably go on Amazon a little bit later tonight. I've got other things to grab off of there. I'm going to get a remote 3.5 drive so that I can hook it to this because it does have USB hookups too, as well as the serial ports. It's got like every single plug and port and whatever I can think of on it, which is kind of nice. Should be able to do a bunch with it. I've got 2 DS motors upstairs, I think. I've got old Trinity motors. Green Machines. I got a grip of Green Machines I got from my buddy Slim. It was all his personal stash. And let's just say I used to hang out at the racetrack where Brian Kinwald and Brian Cavalieri grew up there. I grew up racing with Cavalieri. I remember when Cavalieri was chest level to me. If you go back on my channel, though, You can actually find one of my videos I did where I went through all the stuff upstairs. Able to see all the motors I have, all the electric, went through all of them. But I digress. This plate's not getting itself built, is it? But yeah, I'm hoping to get that dyno going in the next couple of weeks. It's lived something of a rough life, though. Just because it got shorted out before. It's been sitting in one place for quite some time now. So I'm hoping it'll come back. Unlike my poor sunflower outside, that thing's 105-degree weather, and then it did grow, and it grew, and then kinked. After it kinked, that was kind of the end of it. It's not been happy since, even though I tie wrapped it the best I can. It's like it's on life support. So this is the plate that I'm having to make out of 2 pieces of plastic. Now that I have the transfer done, I don't know which way you'll be able to read that, but bottom plate, top plate, I get them cut out. So once I get them cut out, and I'm going to cut them a little big because the very worst, I can trim it down. Measure twice, cut once. I forgot how many times I've measured, but it's done more than twice already. So anyone know if they make a X-Acto style blade for a Weller soldering iron? Yeah, I don't know how many of you actually do electric around here. But like that's my soldering iron. This tip. Like hot knife through butter. That way I could just like cut that. I don't know if they make one. All stuff I'll research on my own if if nobody has an answer right off the bat to get it. So you can kind of see what I'm dealing with there, and how it's two layers. There's an upper layer and a lower layer, and how thick they are. So the thickness might end up being an issue. I might have to figure out, like, make some little tabs to cut and put over here. Because it's flat on the, well, okay. Not quite flat on the chassis, is it? So I'll probably only need to do one side. Yeah, I wish I knew somebody with a welder. TIG is also on my list of things I want to have. Definitely. I do want a TIG. You can see nothing. Hold on. Son of a bitch. Unfreeze. Phooey. Anyway, there's blocks in there. You can just barely see where the pin goes now. Inside of that boss. But I can't really use the pins. That's where they bolt in. Because there's nothing for them to mount to, really. And it's not just a flush block either. They Traxxas designed it with a little conical step inside, so it's great design in that, you know, it can't move around, but it's not so great if you're trying to re-engineer their work. It's kind of what I do. So this almost lines up perfectly. Almost. And once I get distance, once I get it cut out, I'll worry about trimming it exactly so it fits. Like I said, I also have to figure out what I'm going to do for a drive shaft. I don't remember where I put the stock drive shaft too. I took that out before I had my surgery. So there's a very good question. Ow, inanimate carbon rods falling. And this, if I wanted to make it mid-engine rear-wheel drive, actually all I'd need to do realistically is flatten the sides out of the way. Flatten the sides and drill a hole and then measure exactly how long I need it. And I could make it mid-engine. So there's that option. I'm not going to Dremel this out with you guys on live because it will make a bunch of noise, which isn't good for people. As you can see, the car's in a front of the car's in a bag right now. Depending on if I can get this drive shaft to work or if I have to make another one That'll tell me how quick I can get things moved along. As for motor mounts, I have some old aluminum blocks, which are just straight see-throughs, straight sideways cut, no holes. So I might be able to drill some holes, mount them to the chassis like that. I have to use some really long screws. But you kind of get the point. I'll be able to do that with it. And then just use some spacers or whatever to space it up and down. Which, if I put the two gears the way I want to, I'll have to space it up and down anyway. This is kind of a grab-all bag. I've got some, these are old double X4 parts for the most part. I think that's JRX. These are JRX. Old Losi parts. Nobody seemed to want them, so here they sit. And just kind of give you a better idea of what I'm talking about as far as running the gears. So, much bigger gear on the engine than on the shaft. That'll bring the gearing down because it is geared like an off-road truck. Ow! Just something for me to poke around with while I'm not able to run the car anyway. I had a test driver lined up, but life happens to everybody, and they're having some issues in their life, and I'm not going to push them. But I do need to figure out how I'm going to cut that without it cracking any more than it already is. Because it is old stuff. I don't know how long I've had this plate, but quite a long time. This stuff, when you cut it, it gets hot, and when it gets hot, it rolls into little balls, and the little balls get stuck to your skin and give you little second-degree burns, which is always fun. But since I have this transferred already, I don't need the light plate. Guess it would help if I unplugged the correct plug. Well, I wonder what that was. Yeah, Dremel with a cutting disc, at least to slice them and get them into the squares so I can work with it. I like to take big parts down, and then after I get the big parts out, let me move this off the bench. I'm supposed to wear that every time I move around. This brace. Don't tell anybody. I just felt my back pop. Anyway, once I get the rough cuts done and I get it separated to where I have enough room to work on it by hand, I have 2 different Dremel boxes full of hardware. Unfortunately, I think I killed off both of my real cutting discs. But those real strong ones that they come with, I think I managed to kill both of those. But I have this guy. Focus is not happening, is it? Okay. I have this guy. And I can use it to kind of go around the edges, because it scars up. I mean, it's scratching the plastic as it is. So I can do that. That'll catch up with you one of these days. Believe me, I wasn't planning on having my chassis screwed back together at the age of 40. But like all I have for cutting discs are these things right now, or these, which are actually a little thinner, so I'll probably end up using that. Because if you use the thick ones with that plastic, all you're really doing is melting it. You're not cutting it. But like I'm fresh out of, I guess on Amazon more, I'm fresh out of real cutting discs. Got lists of stuff I need to Amazon. Mainly because I can't get out, and there's no not buggies and truggies. There's no like Walmart has some Dremel stuff, but there's really no hobby shop around me that carries Dremel stuff on the wall, unfortunately. Namely because Dremel just wants so much money to have their stuff in stock, because they want you to have so much inventory on hand and all that type of stuff. Hey, you know what I forgot I've got? Might help with my drive shaft problem. It'll fit. So I've got carbon fiber from tints. Little tint rods. And as far as necking it down to make the gearing work, I got that stuff already. So I can just drill out the center hole of the big guy a little, and shove this sucker in, and that'll give me the right size to work with the giant 8-scale engine, giant 8-scale motor, electric motor pinions. I can use those for that shaft, and I might not even have to cut them down. And that should be like plenty strong. And I know these are plenty strong. I'm using 1 or 2 as arrows. They hold up real well. The only thing I'm worried about is if it'll fit around the servo and such. If it fits around the servo, we'll be good. Huh. How long have I been looking for those? Too damn long. Way too damn long. And that's how long. Always put your tools away, kids, or you'll never know where the hell you put them. Especially once you get old. What's this? Oh, that's heat shrink. Oh, let go. Damn, blasted. Yeah, okay. Well, the next time somebody asks me how old I am, I'm that old. That's how old I am. How was dinner, Nitro? You missed a lot of what I'm working on, but it's all that E-word stuff. I don't know how much you'd like it in. It's getting mildly annoying, and I did it to myself. No, righty then. I'm going to shut the drawer on this issue. Be done. Anyway, Nitro, just stepping in. I got my top and bottom plate mapped out to turn that into a front motored rear wheel drive instead of all wheel drive. Technically a step backwards, but it's more scale. And well, hell, at the worst, it'll be a hell of a drift car, right? So, whatever. I'll have fun with it either way. If I can't get it to stick to the ground like it's supposed to, I can just use it to swing around and ultimately just have some fun with. Especially if I put a 13.5 in it instead of the 21 whatever it's got now. But yeah, I went over with everybody how it does hurt. My back does hurt. It's a fact I'm sitting here. It's just mind over matter. If I don't mind trying to hang out with you guys, I guess the pain doesn't matter, right? I'll be feeling it later. But for right now, mind over matter. Although it's starting to get to the point where I'm probably going to have to, like at 7 o'clock, I'll probably shut it down in 15 minutes or so. Yeah, right? The helicopter's at like 20 feet. Right over our head. But I have so much other little RC stuff upstairs spread out and everything that this project shouldn't be that big of a deal. I shouldn't have to buy too much to make it happen. Because spacer-wise, I mean, I'm going to have extra plastic. I could even use that for the spacers underneath the motor plate. Yeah. Setting up live streams and everything, that alone has been taxing. Because you can only do that so well while you're laying down. But yeah, I mean, compared to where I was before in other live streams, you can tell I'm moving a little slower and just generally does hurt more. But headphone users beware, Velcro is noisy. So they have this brace contraption I'm supposed to use all the time. It's like a corset in the back. By the way, this thing hurts to have on anyway. Because it has to go right over both incisions, the front and the back. Which I don't know if all you guys saw the pictures I showed. And if you want to see them again. These pull. And they pull tight like that. And then you end up with this cockamamie thing on. Cat has no manners, I tell you what. Once you end up with that on, I have a walker for when I go outside. I have my grandma walker. I have to use that when I'm walking around places and going and getting stuff done. The 12th, so not too long. It does cover the muffin top spare tire type deal. That if it was a little skinnier, I swear, if this brace was a little skinnier, I would. But yeah, I have been taking it easy, reasonably speaking. Why the camera decided to freak out, I don't know. But I have been taking it reasonably easy. Best I can. That's why I haven't been live streaming, or you might have seen a few of the live streams I did from my PlayStation. So I figured out I can, with just a simple click of the button, instead of having to set up. First time I tried to show the video game online, my old mind was like, oh, I have to put the laptop up on top of the stool, on top of two boxes, and then point the camera at it, and then put a piece of paper over the top of the... I'm old. I didn't notice the share button on the controller, which is already tied to my YouTube, because I did that when I first got it. Memory is a hell of a thing. But I did that so that I could easily stream. Just put up what I have for it. So that's my poor back. They have me all sewed up. I showed this earlier in the stream, but I don't know how many of you were here. My mother-in-law took this before she put the coverings over it. They told me I don't have to have coverings, but that fur ball that was just up here, if I left those loose ends and was like laying on my stomach, that fur ball will come over and start to try and play with that, and that would be weird. I guess maybe the stitches are a little bit better than having had staples. So the first time they let me out, I had staples, which was fun, and then the rest of it was a drain. So, not great. On my belly, they've got a good 2.5, 3-inch cut line. It's taken from a top shot, so I've cut down the picture a little, because otherwise you'll see things you don't want to see. Duck. No, don't do that. Hurt. You have to be careful while you move. So that's basically what's been up with that. There we go. Those are the screws from my front. You can barely make them out, I guess. Darn. Those are screws in my front of my back. There are supposedly 4 of them. There, you can barely make it out now. But it looks like they put wall hardware in me. All sideways looking. They apparently, that's just the first surgery, so apparently there's another set back there, but you can see how crooked my spine is even there. Oh, that is because of this. See where the dotted lines are? The dotted lines are how far, right where that disc had slipped. You can see above it has nice little discs, and then below it there's no discs in between those vertebrae. So they had to fuse that together, put a little bit of a bone graft in there, and then nerds. All of this will become one piece. So I'm really, really hoping that it works out. Cyclone, you said you're going to end up with stuff in your neck here soon, too. So I feel for you. If you got any questions, let me know. Actually, in the description, there's an email address. You're welcome to hit me up at that email address. It's open for anybody. It's kind of like my open email address. It's for the other channel, and if something, there's no, it's not a personal one or if anything attached to it, so I really hope so too, because not like I can go have them take it out now. But I'm really hoping I can move around like I was at least when I was 30. I would love to take 10 years off of my spine. That would be great. But I do believe I'm going to call it a night here at 2 hours is plenty long enough, considering I'm not supposed to be sitting down for too long. Dinner would be nice. I still have to get to the mailbox because it is Sunday and there's mail in there from a couple days. So I shuffle my old butt down there before I can sit back and relax, because that's what I'm going to do afterwards. Sit back, relax, move this laptop back over to where the TV is, and just up all day. So, not good to be up all day when you're doing this. So, Cyclone, beware. I will be careful. I have my walker, my granny walker. I can get around pretty well, but I definitely will have that with me since it is a walk. Yeah, neck, but still spine, okay? Be careful with it. That little cord in the middle of all them stupid little vertebrae, okay? If you move it wrong, it's going to get pinched, and then, well, you'll never be happy in your life again, okay? Do what they say as far as recovery. Don't think you're 10 anymore, okay? I'm having to live to the same conclusions too, but they told me to get up and walk around and not be sitting down in one spot. But with that, take care all. I'm out till the next time. Not my dog barking.